Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the Sense Revel.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. And tonight we have The Thing That Stalks the Fields by David Feuling. So this is another story that was on the definitive Creepypasta iceberg that I acquired like way back in like early 2025, maybe late 2024.
Mm-hmm.
We're still doing it.
There's a lot of stories on it.
We cleared one tier. That only leaves us like 100 more stories.
Granted, most of those tiers we've like already covered stories throughout.
Yeah, we've done a spattering of like stories throughout the different tiers. So we're just kind of like going through them and just picking away at it.
After destroying the first layer, there's like a rain of shrapnel that went through the rest of it that's like damaged little bits of all the other tiers.
Yeah. Or much like a real iceberg. Yay, we cleared up the ice that was on the surface of it. How deep does this thing go? Oh.
Yeah.
So we're just chipping away at it, making iceberg, taking the iceberg water and making it into a beer, like that one Newfoundland brewery.
Nice.
Yeah, there's actually a Newfoundland brewery called Ice. I don't know if they're called Iceberg beer, but like Iceberg lager, and the water they use for their beer is actually from icebergs.
That's pretty sick.
Yep.
So they're causing global warming?
No, because there's so many icebergs that go by Newfoundland. So
just farming one of them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or are they farming like different ones as they come and go?
I mean, probably yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. We're not even at the start. We haven't even started the story yet.
We should discuss how they make iceberg beer more.
Yes. Oh, well, maybe on a separate episode, special episode. If you would like to hear a Patreon episode of us discussing iceberg, like Newfoundland iceberg beer.
I don't think there's enough content to discuss that for an episode.
You would be surprised. I have heard podcasts that review beers.
Yeah. I would be a perfect host for that because I know so much about alcohol.
As an avid drinker.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, shout out to the late and great Mix 6 podcast. Rip.
No.
But anyway, back to the story. I swear. If you would like to read The Thing That Stalks the Fields, it's on creepypasta.wiki. It is by David Feuling, who wrote this creepypasta back in 2011, I believe, and has since gone on to write a bunch of like anthologies of like short horror fiction. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. And
before we dive into this story, we should give our initial recommendations. I'm going to partially recommend this one.
I'm going to not recommend this one.
Sitting on a partial myself.
All right.
We'll see if Mikey's negativity can push us off the right or the wrong side of the fence.
Yeah. And let's find out. So, with our rundown for the story. So, a few weeks ago, Farmer Nair, because no game given, no name given, noticed his hay bales were moving in the night, getting farther and farther from his house. He went out to move them back during the day, thinking it was pranking delinquents. But the next day, he woke up to the hay bales moved again, and all of his horses were killed, decapitated, and their heads missing. So Nair sat on his porch all night with a shotgun, ready to enact some vengeance on those assholes. But it turned out those assholes were actually some massive, hunched, lanky entity that came out of the forest and was moving the hay bales before returning back into the woods. Nair was struck frozen with fear at the revelation, and it wasn't until morning that he discovered that the hay bales now formed a circular perimeter around his property. With no way to leave except on foot, Nair began to worry, but then a car started up the road toward his house. He wasn't sure who it was, but he was just happy that he might be able to escape swiftly. Unfortunately, once the car passed the hay bale barrier, the creature was alerted and came bounding out of the woods, tore the car apart, and killed the unknown screaming driver. Nair got a good look at the entity now in the sun, but it was this inscrutable humanoid thing, possibly made of polished stone, that simply faced Nair after its violent deed, and then returned to the woods. It has been a few days since then, and Nair has been contemplating what to do next, and deeply considering just running for it and seeing what happens. Finn. So yeah, that was the thing that stalks the fields. And next, I suppose with that out of the way, we'll move on to everyone tolerates the Grand Inquisitions. At this point, I've got nothing. Mikey, these stands for evil.
I have a conjunction junction.
All right.
And next stop, Conjunction Junction. Doot, doot.
It was a few weeks ago that the hay bales started creeping slowly away from the house. It took a tedious hour to bring them all from where they were to over near the house again, and by the time I was done, I was ready to snap the neck of whatever little pissant was deciding to screw with me. It was only when I was done that I noticed the bales of hay had all returned to their positions from the day before, scattered far out into the fields. It was only when the thing got close enough to me to make out its silhouette in the dark that I was frozen still. It stalked, hunched and deliberate, through the field with the posture of a tiptoeing thief. It took me an hour before I had the courage to move at all. It was only when the sun rose that I dared step off my porch into the fields. It knew what would scare me, and it knew that I would understand the implications. But if I could get in the car with whoever was coming my way, I might be able to escape before it could stop me. It was when it passed between two bales placed on either side of the road that I began to hear a booming clatter from the woods. It was only when the thing crushed him carelessly in its hand that the screaming stopped. It tossed him away, and straightened up to look at me once again. It was composed entirely of something awful and alive, which was lashed together in a messy semblance of a human form. It'd smash my skull before I could put my hands up to protect myself. It'd go and find a new pet, and probably keep looking until it found someone who could stand knowing that it was waiting just outside, watching it all at all hours with its shiny insect eyes. Finn.
Wow. That was even more succinct of a synopsis than I did. But also, at the beginning, I feel like something that you brought up was like, you took like the part where like he put his hay bales back and he was getting tired of like I swear to God, I'll kill the assholes that did this. And then he turned around, in the next sentence, he turned around and they were back in the place they had been before he put them back together in the right spot. And I was like, that would actually be really freaky. Like you just like, you do all this work, you move these things back after like they've been moved. And then you turn around from like the last one and suddenly they're all instantly back where they had been the night before. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's almost
shit.
more horrifying than what actually happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that was yeah, that would have been fucking creepy. But
Yeah. For those unaware, Mikey basically grabs all the sentences throughout a story that start with words that they probably shouldn't, like its, ands, or buts. Strings them together into a sentence with sometimes hilarious results. Basically to highlight that there's always better words to use.
and sometimes with unintentionally creepier results.
Yes, honestly.
With how swift apparently like this version of the creature's like activities were. But yeah, Gamer, do you have a grammar in yellow?
Yeah, I got a couple. If not for the fact that it must have towered over 10 feet tall, even in its crouched position, it might have seemed almost frail. So for me, it kind of feels like this would read kind of better flipped around, specifically because, like, when it starts describing the creature, it's this huge thing that's, like, lifting these things and moving them around. So, like, it gives you the immediate, like, vibes, I guess, of this thing being a fucking beast, like a huge, strong thing, and then it immediately ends with, oh, also it's super frail. So, like, in my headspace, I was seeing this massive creature, and then, like, right at the very end of the description, all, like, his like the muscles of him just like suck into like skin and bones.
What I think that's what the story, that what the sentence is trying to get at is like, even like oh god, like when it finally rose up, it's like this 10-foot tall thing, even in its crouching position. But like at first, like because of like how weak, how like frail the limbs look, but then its actions kind of like betray that reaction or that initial like that initial perception of the creature.
I guess frailty is mentioned at the end, not at the start.
Yeah, but it says like it might have seemed like it's past tense.
Mm-hmm.
So like it might have seemed frail had it not been for the fact that it was like towering over 10 feet tall and such like that.
Yeah,
I can see
you
like,
just read it the way that I suggested, flipping it around.
Okay, fair. Yeah, you know what? I see your point, sir. You are seen.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, like maybe put the frail part at the beginning of the sentence.
Yeah. I mean, it works either way. I will not die on this hill, but okay. Yeah.
He will not die in this cornfield.
No, I will not.
In this farm field.
It could be corn, you don't know.
I guess it could, yeah. Oh, well, technically it would be hayfield because...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Grass.
You might also have corn somewhere else.
Maybe, yeah.
Either way, moving on. The thinness of its arms and legs and the emaciated... I've been playing Helldivers. There's a mech in there called the Emancipator. It's fine. The thinness of its arms and legs and the emaciated, caved-in quality of its chest reminded me of a starving animal. For me, I feel like it needs a couple more commas, like at the start. So it'd be the thinness of its arms, comma, legs, comma, and the emancipated... Why did I say it again? And the emaciated, caved-in quality. Like, because it's doing a list, but there's only like one comma at the end. And there's double ands.
Yeah. Like I remember, I know that the story is like technically being like told to us, but like first person. But I do agree. Like I never like when a story like doubles down on ands in a listing. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
I know that's like how some people talk. Like they add the and a couple of times, like even though they mean to like do proper like pronunciation or like proper like listing without with just like an and at the last thing. But I mean, yeah, I get it.
I don't know. It's first person narration. It's not like this is dialogue. So
yeah,
I don't know. But either way, that's all I got for grammar.
Okay.
And I'm done with my grammar.
Yeah.
Because that was
just
front.
rearrange. Yeah, future me just rearrange that. I know you're good for it. All right. Then on to actual thoughts. So I'm going to start with this one here. It was a few weeks ago that the hay bales started creeping slowly away from the house. Every morning when I woke up, each had moved a few hundred feet from where it was before. I assumed it was pranksters with nothing better to do, so I ignored it. Nah, that's just your typical Midwestern hay bale hermit crab. What was my knee-jerk reaction? It was like, oh man, it would be really cool if like some like creatures like are like hiding in the hay bales and like moving them farther away as they like try to leave.
Mm.
And now I have that, like, I think that would be a really interesting idea for like a monster. Just like it either hides in the hay bale or it mimics itself to be hay bales and then like slowly moves away. It's kind of like the rock crabs from Apollo 18, the found footage horror film. which were like basically they're like these crustacean things on the moon that hide as moon rocks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But then we got an actual, like, we got more description of the monster later, and we discovered what it was doing. So,
Yes.
but I mean, Midwestern hay bale hermit crab was also the name of my high school ska band. But
You have so many high school ska bands.
oh man, it was just we were just swimming in them.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. I'll move on. I made myself sick trying to interpret them. Why would this thing expend so much energy moving my hay bales and threaten me with such violence should I try to interfere? Killing my horses was just that threat, an intelligent threat at that. I knew what would scare me, and it knew that I would understand the implications. It knew you wouldn't call the cops. That's my addition to the story. Is like, and it knew I wouldn't call the cops. For I couldn't because honestly, I can kind of buy a farmer not contacting local authorities when their horses are killed, because a lot of the time rural folk are just that fiercely self-reliant that they want to do something on their own, or like they want to fix a problem on their own.
Yeah.
It's where the stereotype of like, oh shit, like the farmers come in for a checkup, he must be dying. Because like farmers will not go to a doctor or like won't seek help.
Yeah.
That's sort of like the implication.
Mm.
But I am surprised that he didn't, like, I don't know, contact some drinking or hunting buddies to find out what was causing this. I guess he just doesn't have a
posse.
phone. Yeah, exactly. Like, or like go to his like head over to his neighbors like when he first started noticing like trouble, or like when the horses died. But then again, like, I guess he just doesn't have a landline or a phone.
Apparently, he doesn't have a fucking car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's, I guess the horses were his only means of transportation. Outside of walking.
Wow, that might be actually why he did that.
No, that's like, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, like, but then there's a car later, so it's like, well, so this is still an era where cars exist, and they're metal because like the creature like wrenched the metal like thing off this car, unless it's like an old like T4 like Model T kind of thing, which I guess it could have been, but
he might be Amish.
There's also that, yeah. There's also that it could be from an Amish community or a Mennonite community.
That's true.
Yeah.
I wish it mentioned that, like, now that it's killed my horses, I can't get into town, you know?
Yeah, that's honestly like one of the things I kind of wanted, like, I think would have been better if the story had like answered that or like clarified that. With just like, again, with just like an acknowledgement from him, like when the horses like are all dead and decapitated, have him like exclaim like in the text, just like it's like now I would have to go on foot if I want to seek help from my neighbors or even the local town.
Yeah,
but it just sort of like I guess it's just like left to us to assume, and I mean we all know what assuming means. But
yeah, it makes an ass of you and Umption.
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Well said.
But yeah, you say that it leaves it to us to assume, but like, did any of us assume that he doesn't have a car because he uses the horses to go into town, or did we just kind of talk about that now?
Honestly, not till the car showed up. That is when I was like, okay, so that's why the horses were killed. Was when I realized it was like, oh, like the horses were his car, basically. Like I got there eventually. Like I've figured it out like through reading the story. I wish there was some clarification.
You know what would clarify it a bit more is if like he like wakes up the next morning and like his like wagon out front is trash, and he looks in the barn and his horses are killed. So then it's like, okay, he uses the horses with a wagon.
Yeah, exactly.
Some wheeled vehicle needs to be destroyed.
You know, he goes to his barn like after smelling the horses decapitated, like killed and stuff like that. Finds them all decapitated, and then he also makes a note. It's like, oh, also my wagon was on cinder blocks.
It just took the wheels.
Or like maybe not the wagon had been like just the wheels had been destroyed, not the whole wagon. But like I did that for critical silliness, like
Yeah.
being on Cinderella.
Creature took the wheels and like made them into a necklace or some shit.
Yeah.
Actually, not that big, but regardless.
But yeah, that's that was the one thing I was like especially when like the automobile like was heard coming up the road. I was like, okay, so I guess this guy didn't have a car or phone, but yeah. Then the next thing here, the car worked its way slowly along the road, trundling. Yeah, I really feel like this is probably set in like an earlier time period. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Why? Because trundling?
Yeah, well, just how slow the car's going, and like he refers to it as an automobile.
Oh, that's true.
Well,
I did
yeah,
think
so
it was
it's like-
weird that he said automobile.
Yeah, like I mean, it's not that hard to think that like a rural person might have an older vernacular in like today's day and age, but I do feel like that this probably geared toward like this is from an earlier time when cars weren't as common.
Yeah, I think that cements it for sure.
Yeah, but continuing on here, so the car worked its way slowly along the road, trundling across the uneven ground. I urged it silently to hurry. It was when it passed between the two bales placed on either side of the road that I began to hear a booming clatter from the woods. So it was like interesting that like the hay bales have like an alarm ward on them to notify the creature. Like as the creature like placed them, he also like put on some kind of spell or ward on the on them to notify him preternaturally, perhaps.
You're theorizing this, obviously.
Yeah, this is me theorizing. Yeah, this is how I'd incorporate this creature in a D&D game. I was getting the feeling that like the when it was said that like the hay bales had like formed like a perimeter, like or like went a circle around his property. I was wondering if it was like a perimeter kind of fence system, or if it was like maybe like he was creating a target with Nair's house in the center, like like the creature's like an alien, and it's just like creating like, all right, there's this giant circle, and the house is the bullseye in the center. For my my buddies up in space, just like fire off the laser beam.
Yeah.
I envisioned a pentagram.
Oh yeah, but like the problem with that is like it doesn't say that there were more like hay bales like crisscrossing into a pattern across the field. It was just a circular.
Yeah, but
thing.
if you just put a thing on each point in a pentagram, it's still a circle.
Yeah.
I mean, that is also true. Yeah. Yeah. So basically just creating that. I definitely got the idea. I also wondered like we don't get an answer in the end of the story as to like why Nair is caged. Or why this creature is doing it. We just kind of like the creature like just like created this barrier around Nair's house to trap and is seemingly keeping him trapped, but then goes back into the woods. Very inscrutable, very eldritch. Like we can't comprehend what it's thinking kind of situation. But it made me want to try and think of like why is it doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And so like it made me wonder, is like, well, maybe this thing like only recently woke up and this area is his territory. And so now he considers Nair and his farm basically like a pet or property. Or maybe even like it's just like it's bemusingly, it's just like it showed up and is doing this just as like something to do because it just wants to kill time, and like it finds the torture, the isolation and torture of humans fun in its weird inhuman concept of a mind.
Basically just playing with his food.
Yeah. And also the way it is the way it's described is interesting. So yeah, tossed him away and then straightened up to face the Nair.
He is the Nair, actually.
He is, yeah. To face Farmer Nair. And then we get this, like, in the sunlight, I could see the inhumanity of it. It was composed entirely of something awful and alive, which was lashed together in a messy semblance of a human form. Whatever it was made of looked so polished and hard that if it weren't for the minute writhing of the stuff, I'd think it was made of granite. And then it even comments like later on, like that it was like looking at him with its shiny insect eyes. So it's like it's some kind of Chthonian creature, like this like underground like elemental of like maybe like rockworms or something. So I was kind of picturing sort of this like spindly version, like kind of spindly like golem-esque thing from like the Secret World, mixed with like the hunters from Halo, which like the hunters are the Lek Golo, the hunters are these giant colonies of worms writhing in unison to form a humanoid form. And so that's
good on you
kind
for
of
knowing their actual like race name right away.
oh, dude,
off the top of your head,
dude,
bruh, dude,
I am
bruh.
I was a huge Halo fan back in the day,
Yeah,
back before 343 ruined it.
yeah. Honestly, I was gonna be like, back when it was good.
Yeah. Yeah, of course I know like all the aliens' proper names and not just
Yes.
the human monikers.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Drones, what are they?
don't do this to me. I know. Okay, here's the
I
one.
picked like the most obscure one.
I don't know what the drone one is. I know like
Okay, what about the
Ungoy or-
weird floaty ones from ODST that do almost nothing and they
Oh,
might be friends?
It starts with an H. It's like you asshole. You're picking
I'm
the
really
hardest
sorry for
ones.
throwing you under the bus.
Okay, here. For my Halo cred, I know grunts are Ungoy,
Yeah.
elites are Singheili.
Mm-hmm.
The brutes are Julhanai.
That sounds right. I don't know.
The
You know more than I do, honestly.
the jackals are Kigyar.
Ooh.
The prophets. Fuck. Like I I did know them all.
I'm sorry and also not sorry for doing this to you because it makes for good TV.
Yeah, it's like holy shit. What other ones? So there's a group, brutes, elites, grunts, jackals, hunters. We covered. I think that's actually it. Except for the prophets, I don't. Drones, prophets, and engineers. I'm sorry, I don't know those three.
I couldn't even remember what the hell they were called, to be honest. So,
Yeah, and I do know that engineers are former Forerunner, artificially created entities that the Covenant like recruited.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun.
It is gonna bug the shit out of me what a prophet is or what a drone. Hey, I got to look it up.
I'm looking it up now. Relax. Where are they?
How dare you do this to me?
Yeah, but it's fine. Where are the prophets?
Oh, the Yanmi. The drones are called Yanmi
Yes.
or Yanmei.
The prophets are San Shiam.
Sanshim. Yes.
Shim is how you say it?
Well, probably like it's probably like some kind of like there's like a comma in there, right, between the two.
It's
things.
an apostrophe, but yes.
Apostrophe, yeah.
Also, there's
Much
three
like-
different races for jackals.
Yeah, because there's the standard jackals, and then there's a divergent species that lived on like asteroids.
Oh, but they're all Kigyar.
Yeah.
This is super interesting to the people
Yeah, I know.
listening about this
I'm
creepypasta.
sure, I'm sure everyone loves this. All right, moving back to the story. Yeah, so like the description we got of this creature, again, very like, I just really liked the sort of like, very Lovecraftian description. Like, oh, it's this inhuman this indescribable creature. Let me describe the indescribable.
Yeah.
With descriptions. I do love it, but like I got the idea that this thing was like some kind of like underground like elemental thing of like worms or some kind of like cluster creature that was assuming a humanoid form. And so like I really liked the theater of the mind image I gave it.
Mm-hmm.
Of just this like writhing humanoid form of like seemingly like polished stone worms.
Is pretty neat.
Was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
didn't get like a super clear visual on its eyes. Like it said bug eyes at the very end. I kind of wish it mentioned that up front, like when it describes the creature in the daylight.
It's like otherwise, like if it hadn't mentioned that near the end, I would have just like assumed it was just this like we don't really see a face. It's just a humanoid form.
It's
like a
seeing
silhouette.
through the multiple eyes of each squirming rockworm.
Yeah,
It doesn't
basically.
necessarily need actual eyes.
Yeah. And I'm also presuming that like it probably just like chomped down on the horses, though we don't even get a description of like how the horses like what their wounds look like, if they were like if it was a cut or if it was like a chomp. But like I kind of assumed that like the creature like chomped off the heads of the horses.
I guess all it said was decapitated.
Yeah, so again, it allows the reader to kind of formulate their own theater of the mind for that one as well.
Well, at that point, they had to keep it like that because if it seemed like it was bite wounds that did it, then that would immediately put Nair in a state of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, more so than what he already would have with like all of his horses being killed.
Yes.
But yeah. Also, I like that we got to see the creature in broad daylight, because it makes it ups the ante a little bit here with like the fact like because it's creepy. It was freaky as it was ripping the car apart, but then like we get a full like view of it. It again ups the ante. In that it doesn't matter what time of day this thing comes out at. Like a lot of the time, like horror stories and horror movies, horror movies do it to kind of like hide imperfections and to kind of like make the creature scarier because the empty spaces of a creature in darkness, the human mind will make more terrifying. But yeah, to have some creature like this in like broad daylight doing what it's doing, it's like, oh, that's even more fucked up because you're not safe in daytime.
Yes.
It's like, congrats, you can see everything clear as day. You're fucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I liked that aspect of the story. And then at the end of the story when he's trying to figure out like if he's like how like if, like why is this like caged pet for this thing, and then the story just kind of ends with him just like, fuck it, maybe I'll risk it. Maybe I'll risk running it past the barrier and seeing where things go. And yeah, we never get a concrete answer for why this creature's doing this. What's Nair's fate? The story is really just kind of playing on the horror. Like the story's not answering those questions because the story is just wanting to kind of explore the idea of spontaneous helplessness. Like this horror of like being just like out of nowhere, just being trapped and not having a way out. And the anticlimax that we see a lot in Lovecraftian stories where the story just kind of ends abruptly with no real concrete ending. It just, will Nair decide to like just say fuck it and run, or will he be trapped here forever until he runs out of food and then eventually gets killed by the creature? Like, it's not looking too good for him.
No,
but that's where we're just gonna fade to black and like.
Thankfully, he's on a farm, so he can make his own food.
Yeah, well, he's
to a point.
Yeah, but like, yeah, it doesn't. I didn't hate this like sort of like anticlimactic ending where it just sort of like fades to black as like leaving Nair's fate like undetermined or just like basically not looking good. But it doesn't mean that I don't still wonder why this was all happening and what happens next for Nair, if he decide to stay put or not. So, but. Yeah, it was one of those stories where it's like, I mean, maybe it's because like I've read a ton of Lovecraft stories or like stories like this where, especially early pulp stories where like the narrator, the story just sort of ends with the narrator, trapped in a dire situation, or just like the story getting resolved, but like we don't know anything about what happened. Like the creature just like attacked the person. No rhyme or reason, no explanation given. Character survives. He's in a hospital. No idea what the fuck he just experienced. That's where the story ends. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's because I've read a lot of those stories, like those like early horror pulp stories. So like this doesn't bug me as much. But yeah, this ending only minorly like it intrigued me more than it bugged me.
Yeah.
And just like, I wonder what happens next, or I wonder why this creature did this. Like, it left me, the reader, to do that. But yeah, that is the end of my actual thoughts. So, Mikey, these stands for evil.
Well, let's see. I'll start at the end here. So, I really didn't like the ending.
Fair.
Because it lacks thought from the character. Like, because basically just making a run for it is a death sentence.
Well, what else does he have to do? Like,
Well, he could try things like burning the hail.
you mean the hay bale?
Bales?
Yeah.
Burning the bales, moving the bales again so they're not in the circle, but maybe not. Because the creature allowed him to move them until he went to bed. So if he came up with a plan to move one or two and then get out, hopefully that would destroy the fence or whatever that was created, but it's still something.
Yeah, I mean, I do get what you're saying. Like, I mean, the creature did like let him move the bales, but then it gave repercussions. So, like, what happens next? He's going to wake up in the middle of the night as the creature is destroying his home, and so he's going to be just left shelterless, or like just make a run for it, and then he's just going to get killed or chased and killed by this thing. So, like, I think it had like maybe is just sort of like. I do understand what you're saying with like he should do more, but I think at this point in the story, he just kind of gave up, or it's just like kind of getting not gave up, but like frozen with indecision. Like, what the fuck do I do?
He didn't even try shooting it.
Yeah,
true. That is also true. He was just like
he has a shotgun, and like I understand that first time. Like I'm totally fine with him not shooting it the first time because he was fucking terrified.
Yeah,
but like now that he knows he's trapped here. He's watched it kill someone, and he's willing to potentially just run for it and die just like that guy did. It'd be better to just, as Mikey said, move a hay bale, sit there with a shotgun, wait till it shows up, give them both barrels, and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to die anyways, you might as well go out swinging.
Yeah, no, especially for a farmer character, like... Unless it's like they're sort of like trying to break the mold of like, oh, he on the surface he's like a tough, like, good old boy farmer, but then like when push comes to shove, he's actually a coward, sort of character.
It's like,
or just doesn't.
Coward might be a little harsh. In that situation, it's like he's not really being a coward. Like, put yourself in his shoes.
I understand. Coward may not have been the right word. I meant like more like he just doesn't. He whiffs,
not
or
violent.
Exactly. Or like just like he thinks he could pull the trigger and be the big damn hero, but then he when he actually is in that moment, he just realizes I'm not, and he just freezes or chokes at the moment. So, but again, like, yeah, that's sort of like left for us to decide. I'm not saying like not like fully like supporting the ending. I do wish there was more. Don't get me wrong. I am that Disney princess, but I do understand why you're not recommending it because of that.
Yeah. And then my next actual thought here is in regards to the monster. I know we've talked about how we've all had different visions of the monster based on the description. Mm-hmm. My vision was an Enderman from Minecraft.
Fuck, you're right.
Yeah, you're not wrong at all.
Yeah. He's even like picking up the hay bales, teleporting away.
Yep.
Putting them down. He's pulling the heads off of horses, teleporting away.
He's just taking blocks, dude.
He's just taking the head block of the horse.
Oh, he took their block off.
Yeah.
Oh. Fuck.
Gamer, take advantage of the next time we play One Less Die.
Hell yeah.
Make a note to that.
I'll totally forget that. Don't worry.
Oh man, that's good. But yeah, no, okay. Now that you've said that, it is kind of Enderman-ish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like Enderman in real life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When did Minecraft come out?
Wow. Are you seeing if it came out before this story?
Maybe.
When did the story come out?
It came out in 2011. And Minecraft formerly released in 2011. It was in pre-alpha since 2009. And he is
really
a
don't
far.
think it's related.
No, I don't think either. I think it's just that's just a happy coincidence. But like,
Yes, absolutely.
That's fun.
Yeah.
David, the author is just like sweating. if he ever hears this,
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And then my next actual thought here is a little bit of a nitpick. So it starts with this sentence here. It was a few weeks ago that the hay bales started creeping slowly away from the house. To which Marcel says, well, why doesn't he have a barn for his hay bales?
Well, I mean, sometimes they do put the hay bales out into the fields. Like they just leave them out in the field.
But that's leaving it on the field. Like they do that when they're making the hay bales, and then they leave it there to dry, and then they take them off and store them in a barn.
Yeah, but so exactly, yeah. So it could be assumed. I know what assuming means. Anyway, beat that dead horse, that dead headless horse.
Nice.
But I mean, yeah, it could be in the time when like the hay bales are out in the field just drying still. So,
but then they wouldn't be by the house; they would be scattered throughout the field already.
They are though.
They were,
but no, they're in they're away from being moved away from the house.
They're being moved farther from the house. So it doesn't mean they're not like out in the field in random locations.
All right.
Like...
then I'm going to bring this up. He's a stupid farmer because you don't just move them back to where they were for an hour. You actually bring them back and store them in a barn.
Mikey's just like, he's a stupid farmer and I hate him. I see. This is not what I thought you were gonna like be picking at. I thought you were picking at that. Like this has been going. These hay bales have been being moved away like slowly over weeks. Like you think that he would have like started putting them back the way they were weeks ago.
Well,
when the first couple started like moving, but
when you make hay bales in the field, you leave them for weeks. So if he went to go and see them, it's like, oh, why are they so far away from me? When he goes to collect them and bring them in.
I gotcha, yeah.
But then instead of collecting them and bringing them in, he just puts them back where they were. Like,
is this
again, they could still need to dry. Like they were out in the field drying. Some hooligan moved them farther away. He said, "Fuck you, hooligans! I had it here. It's staying here." And he brings it back because, like, if they keep bringing it farther away, it's going to be harder for him to gather them when they're dry. And then all of a sudden, he sees a creature.
How much work that is just to move them back to where they were?
I mean, if he has a tractor, or no, he wouldn't have a tractor. He'd have maybe if he had some kind of device that he hauls over with his horses to move them back. That would also explain why the horses got picked on, not like got killed, because he was using the horses with like whatever older like non-mechanical device he'd use to like take the hay bales around. But
he's not very efficient.
I suppose not.
And like farmers have to be efficient.
I mean, that is the goal. But I mean, again, like you said, he could just be a crappy farmer. He is also just one man. He has no farm hands as far as we know, and no family. It's just him on this farm. So,
well, that's the end of my actual thoughts.
Now that you lay dying at the bottom of that hill.
Yep.
Gamer.
Okay. So, first note here is it says the next morning I found each and every one of my horses messily decapitated. Oh, it does say messily.
Oh, it does say messily. Okay, so yeah, maybe it was. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's not going to be clean regardless. The smell was what woke me up. Each one slumped over against the side of its stall. There were no signs of the heads. I spent the rest of the day cleaning up the mess and burying the remains. Nair is oddly chill for the fact that someone just like headshotted all of his horses. Like, there's no reaction to any of this. It almost feels like he's like, damn Tuesdays, and he's just like cleaning up all the blood.
Life is hard in this, man.
Yeah. I just wish there was some sort of
Yeah.
reaction to it. It's just like, oh, that happened. Fuck.
Yes,
all
yeah.
right.
This was around the time where I was like, why isn't he calling police? Why isn't he like trying to like why don't we get more of like some more words about him like trying to figure out like a plan on like how he's going to go into town or go to like is he going to trek down to his neighbor's farm and like ask for aid kind of thing? Like
Yeah.
he's clearly like something is clear just killed all of his horses, his main mode of transportation outside of walking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yet he does not care.
No, yeah, it is a little strange.
Mm-hmm.
His farm his farm is in the countryside in the state of Derpland.
Might be. So regarding the creature like putting up a barrier, the hay bales, was I the only one getting like a bit of potential buddy horror vibes from this one? Like he's just basically setting up a perimeter to protect Nair from the world.
I will say I did not think of that. That is an interesting interpretation.
He hasn't done anything to hurt him. He's just like, I want you to stay here and be safe. I'll protect you.
Oh God, if this had been a little bit longer, if we got more extrapolation, we find out that like when Nair was a child, he befriended this little this strange little worm creature in the woods, and then they went their separate ways. Like he grew, like Nair grew up and like and kind of like lost contact with the worm, but the worm always like watched him, or the creature always watched him, and then like now Nair's older and like he's living on his own out in the farm and stuff like that, like. The creature is still trying to protect him as best it can, as best its monstrous mind can think of to protect, to understand of like how to protect somebody. So it is unintentionally isolating Nair from the outside world because maybe the creature has gone off to like maybe like the reason why they went their separate ways, like Nair grew up and the creature went off to see the world, saw the horrors of the world. Like of the modern world, like it's like, oh no, I gotta protect Nair. Finally comes back years later, finds Nair like living his life like in solitude on the farm. It's like, oh, thank the monster. All right, I have to protect my boy.
My boy.
So yeah, it's like definitely one of those. There's actually, it's kind of that the way you've kind of like flavored this to be like a buddy horror like kind of thing. And the way I'm taking it is definitely inspired by Monster and Other Childish Things scenario from Road Trip, the campaign, called Pastoral Manor, where again, like this old farmer like has a property and he's being attacked by woodland creatures and stuff like that from the woods. But it's then revealed that like the leader of the woodland creatures was like was the old farmer's like childhood monster friend. That again, when they went their separate ways and like the boy became an old bitter man with like where his like family's all like left him and he's the only one at the farm now, like because he has the mind of an adult. The monster can't like bond with him the same way.
Yeah.
So, fuck, I like that idea.
It is pretty cool. Another one I thought of when you were describing all this is like he finds this little rockworm thing as a kid, and then like he keeps it. Like, and they go on adventures in the woods, and then at one point he stumbled across like a few other rockworms. He's like, "I'm gonna let you go back with your kind," and then they just form this giant creature, and then the same sort of thing happens when you talk about it, and he comes back to protect him.
Yeah, and it just doesn't understand that like the boy he knew, or the boy grew up and like thought that was an imaginary thing and not a real thing, and so now he's being tortured unintentionally by his childhood friend. Oh God, I love that. I love that idea. I might take that idea for a Monster of the Childish Thing scenario sometime.
Because also like the farmer wouldn't necessarily make that connection because like it's this massive 10-foot tall while it's crouching creature. Like he's not going to necessarily be like, oh, that's my little worm friend.
Yeah, like the only thing like we could, like if it was added onto the story that like while he was like scrambling through his house looking for like any kind of like either looking for like getting extra like rationing his food and stuff like that, he like stumbled upon like an old box of drawings of this like weird worm creature with him. Like he drew a bunch of like things when he was a kid about this monster. and then like memory started flashing back. Like that's how you kind of introduce that further.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. Or the monster like when he tries to run, and the monster like starts like in a gravelly like alien voice, maybe he's like trying to like, no, come back, we from.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like the creature like kills an intruder, like the guy in the car, and then just like looks at him in like all his glory, and then walks back into the woods. Like it may not have been menacing. It may be like in its own like maybe mute monstrous like language. It's just like I'm helping, and then walks away.
Yeah,
That's
that's kind of the vibe.
I protected you. Yeah. Damn, that's I really like that.
Introducing buddy horror into anything is always the best.
Absolutely.
And actually, my last note we talked about, because why the hell doesn't he have a car? Yeah. We figured that out.
All right. Well, on to final thoughts. Yeah, I'm still going to partially recommend it. I like the setup and the sequences in the story. Just the horror of helplessness and the unknowable element of like, what is this? Why is this happening? What is this thing? Unanswered. And that's fine. The unanswered questions that do bug me, and that I think would have made this better if they had been answered or clarified, are what is kind of like bringing this down for me as into a partial. Is the fact that like again like we don't really know why he has a car. Like again we can kind of assume like this is he just doesn't have a car, he just doesn't have a phone, because a car is introduced eventually by some outside force, but it is then swiftly removed. And so we do get like the question of like, oh, this thing is keeping him contained. Oh my god, new idea just popped in. Nair, unbeknownst to Nair,
I see where you're going.
he is some kind of vector for something, whether it be a disease or some kind of like hazardous thing to the rest of the world. And Mr. And the creature, the entity that comes out of the woods and does all the hell is his keeper for the SNTF, the Supernatural Task Force.
Which is our stupid headcanon thing of creatures that are actually doing good to help the world.
Yeah, I didn't realize we're basically like the SNTF is our SCP. It's just reverse Uno. SCP,
yes, absolutely.
Where the creatures are the ones keeping the world safe, not some human organization. But yeah, I like that. It's like, yeah, he's just this thing's just out in the woods, just like he's got his own little like monitoring station in the woods. And it's like, oh, he's escaping. Oh, he's trying to escape. All right. Oh shit!
When he's just sitting watching a monitor.
yeah. It might be arcane. It might be like an arcane monitor. Like that's where, like, each hay bale is actually like a magical like security camera.
I like to think there's just a mundane security camera in each one.
Yes,
motion detectors and shit.
Yes. Oh my god.
Sitting there eating donuts, waiting for for something to happen.
Yep. Absolutely. Oh my god. I gotta draw that someday. And then the car's maybe the car and the guy that was in the car, because Nair didn't know who it was. So maybe he's actually like some esoterist trying to bring Nair and whatever vector he has in him out into the world. And so this the entity in the woods just like, oh no you don't. And just rips over the car, throws it out. It's like, and then him like shining like standing in front of Nair in the daylight, effectively the equivalent of like doing the like two fingers to the eyes, then two fingers to you, like watching you.
Yes, but that's more threatening.
But yeah, he's still like trying to like make sure this guy like stays put. Like he's still a monster, so he's still doing things like in whatever way he feels is appropriate.
Yeah. So,
damn, I like that idea a lot. We just need to run I just need to run a Monster of the Childish Things game, but like it's more on the monster side, and you just have like a human handler, like a teen or tween human handler.
Another way you could view it is just like in more of a mundane sort of way, in a way. Like the creature, the thing that stalks the fields. I had to look at the title. Puts up the barrier because like it has some sort of like ESP or like stuff like that to like know what's going on, and it knows that there's this guy that's going to be coming to kill Nair. Just because of one reason or another, like a mundane murder that's happening. He's like, oh, no, I'm going to protect him. This dude shows up, he just wrecks him and then leaves. And then, for all we know, everything's normal after this. Because, like, if he died, then it would have, like, fucked with one reason or another, or fucked with the timeline. Maybe there's some weird time shenanigans going on and he's protecting the timeline. I don't know.
It's like a monster protector, like just like his monster bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do like that idea. See, again, like this is like sort of, for better or worse, this is sort of the beauty of these kind of like these stories where they leave it kind of like certain things vague and like the ending open ended, is that it gets the people who are reading the story talking.
Yes, absolutely.
Damn, yeah. So yeah, aside from some questions that I wanted answered that should have been answered, I think, in the story, I liked the story otherwise, so I'm willing to give it a partial recommendation. Mikey, D stands for evil.
Well, I didn't like his farmer ways, and I also didn't like the ending. So I'm still not going to recommend this.
That's fair. I can't hate you for not liking Luddites.
You're allowed to not like things.
Yeah. And Gamer.
Well, for me, the whole like premise of it's interesting. Creature's neat. It's different. It's not just like some big fleshy creature with teeth and claws. I like that he's unique like that. I just wish the story like kept going because it kind of stops before it gets good.
Yep.
That's my biggest like gripe with it.
I think that's a general consensus from all of us, even Mikey. Like the story just ends.
Yep. Hang on 1 second. There's some guy that just showed up at the house. I don't know why.
It's the thing from that stalks the fields. Gamer is now its new pet.
So yeah, while the story I think kind of just stops when like I kind of want to see where it goes, it was still like an enjoyable read with an interesting creature. The farmer's lack of ability to farm didn't really bug me. I didn't even notice it, to be perfectly honest. Might be because Mikey knows more about farming than I do, or researched it a little bit upon seeing how he acted. But regardless, on my reading, it didn't bother me. I'm still going to leave it as a partial. It was a good, quick read, but I think it needs more, in my opinion.
Yeah. We must have more.
Yeah. But that's because we like it.
Yeah. Well, most of us do.
Yes. We, as in the ones who were related to what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right. So 2 partial recommendations and 1 non-recommendation. And I think that'll do it for this week's episode. So if you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below where this gets posted. Some of us are on Blue Sky. Mikey is at the E Stands for Evil. And I'm at Review Cultist. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com, where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things. You creep it, we'll peep it. Yeah. And if you'd like to help support our show financially, you can go to Patreon. We have special episodes, early access, extra content. To all our patrons helping support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay. And as always, we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, thank you immensely, because without your listenership, it'd be like screaming into the void. And without your stories, and without your authorship, writing and posting these stories online, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. So thank you. Now's a good time to mention that we are a part of a podcast network, Crit in the Night, an actual play and creepypasta podcast network, We're there alongside our sister podcast, One Less Die, and our cousin podcast, The Role Playing Exchange, for things that go crit in the night. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.